Gotta watch the intro to this game. So we're just gonna go ahead and start the countdown, then we'll do introductions and all that. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
All right, yeah, so I'm cha0ticace, or I just go by Ace. And this is the Wind Waker no manual super swimming. No manual super swimming defers from 80%, which doesn't do manual super swimming. And then there's also a trick later on in the run that we don't do. It's kind of like a beginner's category. It's meant to be an easier version because normal 80% is very intensive. And we'll go over some of those tricks as we go through, but go ahead and let the commentators do some introductions first.
What's up? I'm adef. I love Wind Waker speedrunning. This is the game. This is the very first speedrun I ever saw was of this game. Giano's over 6 hour any percent back in like 2011 is the first speedrun I ever saw. And I've been obsessed with, participating here and there and doing runs of my own in this game since then.
Hi everyone, I'm abahbob. Very, very similar to adef. I got into speedrunning pretty much for this game. Around that time, I got in at around 2012, and I got into glitch hunting and tool-assisted speedrunning. Whenever Giano's 6:16 was the fastest time, that's whenever TAS had like a golden era of really pushing the game to insane limits.
Hi, my name is Linkus. I got into Wind Waker.
No cheers for abahbob, you guys. This is messed up. This is messed up.
I got into Wind Waker from the cha0ticace 2013 Wind Waker run, actually. That's how I really got into speedrunning, and I've been running this game ever since, with a lot of breaks.
Ace, when did you get into Wind Waker?
Yeah, so I realized I forgot to. I'm coming up on 10 years now. Wind Waker HD's release, on and off since then. Yeah, very happy to have discovered it. It has been an incredible journey so far. But yeah, so this category differs from normal 80% in the sense that we're going to skip. You can't do manual super swimming in this. So we're going to see a lot of the intro part of the game that you wouldn't normally see for an 80% run because we're going to swim away from outset very early on. Yeah.
I think we should also explain for anyone who hasn't seen the speedrun before specifically, he's talking about manual super swim.
Yeah.
So if you ever played this game, you will know that it has a very long intro section. You have to go through the starting island, outside island, and then you have to go to Forsaken Fortress and a bunch of other stuff you'll see throughout this run. So what the idea of a manual super swim is basically to escape the early game and skip the entire 30-minute section. The reason it's called manual super swim is because of the fact that since we don't have any items to perform a super swim glitch, which we're going to see later on, you have to manually perform it by flicking the analog stick really quickly or pause buffering the game. So that's why it's called manual super swim.
And Ace earlier talked about how this was sort of the quote-unquote beginner category, which I find kind of hilarious because it's still incredibly hard. But it definitely is nice that, at least the first 20 or 30 minutes or so is really just simple execution as opposed to opening with the hardest trick immediately or one of the hardest tricks.
Yeah, so it takes about 30 minutes to really get going. Once we hit about the 30-minute point, it's going to be pretty much non-stop tricks and swims and whatnot. Yeah, earlier on part is pretty slow, but still pretty exciting in my opinion. So if you need to get a snack or something, now would definitely be a good time to do that. This cutscene still goes for a little bit, so if you want to read a couple donations, that would be a great time for that.
Thank you for that. We got $100 from Amarin, donating my money for my neon white run that I did deadlift. Let's go SMB3 at 80%.
That was a very fun run to watch.
Yeah, gamers, keep those donations coming because the SMB3 run, I believe, can be upgraded. And that is a run you absolutely want to see. So keep the donations coming. GamesDoneQuick.com/donate. There are also prizes you can win. And Able Gamers is a great cause.
So playing on the Japanese version, the main reason for Japanese is that the Japanese text is just faster, which saves a ton of time. There are a large number of version differences, actually, but because this run is so short compared to how long it used to be, there's far less that we'll be able to point out. One of the big differences when it came to speedrunning this game, when it was way longer, before barrier skip was found, was that the Triforce set is not completely different, but it's a bit longer on the Japanese version because you have like a scavenger hunt that leads you to a Triforce chart instead of actually getting the Triforce chart directly.
And it's crazy the Japanese is still faster. Even though the Triforce hunt is longer on the Japanese version, it's still the faster version. Even back then, this is like all the way, I don't know, when was the first barrier skip? 2017, 2016?
2017 on the HD version, right?
Yeah,
I want to say
something like that.
2017
Yeah.
to 2018.
Yeah, this game has gone through a lot of massive changes over the last decade. And there are like true eras of this game, I feel like, where like one person's on top and this is the route.
Yeah. I think another important thing to mention is talking about how the Japanese version is still faster. An old school runner by the name of Demon, very known in Zelda community, he painstakingly went through this game on the no barrier skip route 5 times to try every language. And I think roughly on a kind of glitchless run, it saves about 23 minutes Japanese text compared to English, which is how it's able to be so much faster.
That is an immense amount of
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, so rolling, just like most Zeldas, or a lot of Zeldas, is one of the fastest like base ways of moving around. Side hopping is actually pretty fast too, which actually, there isn't really any side hopping in No Main No Super Swing, I'm realizing.
You just side hopped off the watch
Well,
tower.
okay, side hopping off the watch, but like in terms of just for like extended movement, I guess.
Yeah,
sure.
You will see a lot of side hopping if he's having to carry something. Like in all dungeons, when you have to carry your partner around a dungeon, then it's way faster than walking.
Yeah, but you don't get any of that in this, unfortunately.
Yeah,
And doesn't all dungeons actually skip bringing Medley into Earth Temple now?
that is correct. Yeah.
It's also interesting, though, rolling in this game is like, if the last time you played Wind Waker was Wind Waker HD, you probably remember rolling being this like instantaneous, ultra-fast, super sick way of moving around. But in the GameCube version, there's like an acceleration period, and as far as I understand, there's some randomness as to like how fast the first roll is, or something to that effect.
It depends on how long you've been walking before you actually roll. You want to be able to, you want to get up to a certain speed before rolling.
Yeah, so even slopes get impacted at that point.
Yep. There's just save warping here, normal save warp. We're gonna see it a few times throughout the run because it's faster than rolling back to where we need to be.
Yeah. You know, the rolling mechanic on the GameCube version, Nintendo designed it more around like realistic physics. So how much speed you have going into your roll will dictate how much you have. And if you're going up a slope, it will also. But they realized when they were remaking for the HD version that it actually isn't great for a casual experience when playing the game. So they just capped it so that you have like 80% max speed as your minimum speed roll. While here, you can literally roll in place. Like, you won't even move almost at all.
Yeah, they made a ton of great improvements to the Wind Waker HD casually.
Yeah.
Like Swift Sail was amazing.
Although we don't really sail, so that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fine.
It was
Well,
amazing for the
casually.
first little
Yeah.
while of this.
Yeah. Well, except for the getting it part.
Yeah,
The-
true.
that's true.
The acquisition is pretty bad.
This is another long cutscene. If you want to knock out a donation or two.
Sure thing. We got $50 from Flame and Sarge. Thank you so much for that. We got $25 from Epsilon Minus with no comment as well. Thank you so much for that. And then just a reminder about the SMP3 upgrade to 100%. We're currently at $895 out of 5,000. So take that. Let's get that going, guys. Everyone.
Okay, Linkus. The other two didn't seem excited about this idea that I had like an hour ago. What if we donate every time Ace bonks?
Oh. I mean, for most runners, I would be okay with that, but we're talking about Ace here. He's going to be bonking a
That's
lot.
true.
I don't know. I have a lot of confidence in Ace, though. I think I can get in on this.
Okay, well, how much money should we say per bonk? $1? $5?
You were saying $1. I
You guys do
think
realize-
Ace is good enough.
You guys
we can do $5
realize there are
for
at
this.
least 2 bonks, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we want to donate something.
Yeah.
We can do $5 per
$5 per bonk?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Twitch, oh, Ace, no, what are you doing, dude?
Almost without it was going to bonk immediately.
You're kidding. Can't bonk on purpose.
Trying.
Okay, well, don't go crazy. I mean, Twitch chat in the audience, you'll have to keep us honest on how many bonks there are. Intentional ones,
There's 2.
required for tricks.
Please
Yeah.
don't count.
Those count.
Okay.
Every bonk counts.
Those are like the baseline.
Yeah. Also,
Probably
here we're
already
doing the tutorial for getting the sword, but the game does actually lie to you. It's very strict. And if you try this, I'm sure you failed and he's knocked you over, which is like, hey, only press B, hey, only let's press target and B, etc. However, you can actually do specific combos. You can see he does actually a back and then a quick spin on the final ones. And that's because he's actually moving the analog stick to perform combos, because as long as the start of the combo followed his instructions, they were okay. And right there, he did something really good. called a quick parry. So right there, that's basically on a cycle when you have to parry him. And if you parry him within the first 2 frames, you instantly get it the second time, which saves about 10 seconds. And now we're going to get the sword.
Something really cool, a good way of timing that, and actually I'm going to use that later when I fight Ganondorf 2 for a pretty precise and tightly timed sword combo on him is L targeting and then watching the L target above him go up and down, the arrow above his head go up and down. That's consistent, so you can use that to your advantage. So you can count the bounces.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need an audio cues for it.
Okay. We found
He's
out.
really, by the way, he's going out of his way to bonk. Did you see that? He went to the left
and
and to almost
Still
bonk.
can't bonk.
Yeah.
That was
I
actually
have faith in him. Come on. But we can't just let this go. We found out that Lincoln
Yeah.
plays this game without audio.
audio.
He's been speedrunning this game for his entire lifetime without audio, just listening to music.
Yeah, both Adef and I at the same time were like, we said the exact same thing.
Yeah, what did we
exact same
say?
way. I don't remember, but like,
Are you serious? I
Yeah,
think is
that
what
was
we
probably
said.
it.
It just feels unbelievable because I don't know. Ace and I were talking about yesterday how while he was practicing, there are things you don't even notice you're using audio cues for sometimes if you become reliant on it. Like in this game, for example, pause buffering has such a distinct audio cue. And so like, since the pause buffering isn't instant, it's a rhythmic thing, subconsciously, like the audio matters, to me at least.
yeah, no, practicing on a monitor that didn't have audio was throwing me off. Even though I never actually pay attention to it for that.
So TLDR, Linkus, teach us your ways. Teach us your secrets. Maybe it's the specific music you're listening to that makes you so good.
I usually listen to the same Charlie Puth album, just like over and over again. So, yeah, check out voice notes maybe. Just keep
Okay.
listening to that.
What if I just listen to like a podcast of somebody telling me I'm really great? Like it's just like affirmation, you know? It's like, wow, Adef.
I think that'd be more distracting than anything.
You think so?
Yeah.
We'll have to find out.
So that was actually a pretty precise combo you can do on those Bakab ones to attack both of them with every single sword hit and kill them at the same time,
Yeah.
which
No.
I really like.
And you got really lucky too. He went for rupees there too, you could notice. And you will need that later for the sale.
Yeah, the sale's 80 rupees. You want to get, as many as possible on outset. And then you just collect the remainder on Windfall. Yeah. We've got some more cutscenes here, so it'd be another great time for donations.
Sure thing. We got Crafty Boss with $50. Hello from the crowd. It's awesome to be able to watch a GDQ in person. Good luck with the runs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was good. That was good. Good
Yeah,
beetle.
the beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have like the punch in my voice though.
Yeah.
But
If anybody in chat wants to also donate every time Ace bonks, we can just get a little thing going here.
true.
Are there any other bonks? No, there's not.
Ace, you don't think you'll bonk a few times on accident? Wow, the confidence on this man.
I don't think there's anywhere you really can bonk in this category.
You say that.
Also, it's just the 2 for cha0ticace skip, right? Oh wait, that's only 1.
Yeah, you just bonk once.
Well, you can definitely bonk into the wall while you're getting some of the shoes out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, it's pretty difficult. The collision there is very strange. I'm trying to think of other places. I don't know.
You could bonk on trying to get up the waterfall in Forest Haven.
Can you?
Yeah.
With the swing out of bounds?
If ever any viewers at home were curious what speedrunner conversations are like, this is basically it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, can you bonk in Area 5, subsection 2? It's like, oh, no. Oh, sick.
Well, in tech, you could bonk like almost anywhere, right? But it's like more so about like where you're most likely
Yeah.
to.
There will always be that one person that has bonked there, though. If it hasn't happened yet, it will happen.
There's no unique experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least in speedrunning. That has happened before.
Yeah, no, this is like the one rough thing about this category is it's an amazing category to run, but if you're grinding for a really good time, once you're at like reset 5 of the day, going through these cutscenes feels like the end of you. Like it is just like it never ends.
Yeah. So these I've been while doing attempts of this lately, past like month or so. I think I've only ever really been able to sit through outset like twice at a time.
Yeah.
I do only like two maybe 3 attempts a day.
In a sense, though, maybe that, keeps you from resetting and gives you more attempts at late game. Maybe that's good.
Helps prevent burnout too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's definitely one of the things about speedrunning in general. You can have you can either have very long intro tutorial sections, or you can have very trick-heavy beginnings. So you're either going to be resetting very heavily at the beginning, or sometimes you just want to keep going because you dread the beginning.
Which is funny because like my PB had like a nearly 40. I think I can be a minute ahead after like 40 minutes in, and then like the time save after that's pretty sparse. So actually my PB was a case of that. Bible thump.
True sadness. We were talking before, and I feel like it's kind of pretty nuts. Like, this is a lot of like the old guard of Wind Waker speedrunning up on this stage right now. Like, the new folk. I don't know. How do you feel? Like, where does everybody feel they fit in like the time span of Wind Waker speedrunning? Like, Linkus, do you see yourself more as like oh well, I came in this era, or do you see yourself as a more like modern player?
I would see myself as like a barrier skip generation runner.
Barrier skip generation?
Yeah, because like right when barrier skip was discovered, that's when I was like grinding the game the most, trading it back and forth with Demon. I ran it before then, but I would say that's when like, because ICAs, for example, is like pre-barrier skip.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like the barrier skip generation, and like, well, you're ancient. for context, like most of the really old stuff you see or research that was found like back like 10 plus years ago was either like worked around the same time or found by this guy right here.
Yeah.
I remember whenever Linkus joined the community, and he was just this punk kid, and just seeing the insane growth and what has become of this game in general is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, you know, for so long it was like, can you beat it in under 5 hours?
Yeah.
And that was a huge grind. And then it was, can you beat it in under 4 hours? And that was an immense grind. And then now we're like, okay, when is sub 50 minutes?
Yeah. I don't think anyone would have ever actually guessed it would have been under an hour.
No, definitely
like if,
not.
Like
No.
4 or 5 years ago.
No.
Yeah, no, I think one thing that really has kept this community alive, and I'm sure you're noticing this right now, is that this is going to be the same every time. The biggest diversion in a run is maybe you mess up Orca and lose 5 seconds, or maybe you don't get the rupees. But
My PB, I messed up Orca and lost 12 seconds.
yeah, exactly. You see right there? But nowadays, since you do have categories that do skip outset thanks to the manual super sim glitch, which some of the other categories use, it opened the door up to different routes. Because before, about the first hour was identical almost in between every single category.
Yeah.
Like there no such thing as like all dodges existed because any percent had to do it. And 100% and all the other kind of subcategories would be the same. While now you can choose which order you want to do things by sequence breaking, which I think adds like a lot of like longevity to the game. Which is also why I think this is kind of the only category, any percent, that has a no manual super sim option. For like the beginner friendly one, and also kind of like for historical purposes.
Right.
Yeah, also, so many people wanted an outset skip for such a long time. And then when it happened, it was unfortunate. It's a little unfortunate that it's like just such a physically intensive trick.
Yes.
And like challenging trick. Because then that still deters people from actually running it.
Yeah.
I do think, though, also the length that this game now finds itself at, you know, in this category, a little over an hour, and any percent a little under an hour, has helped keep the attention of everybody these days as well. Because I think it's harder, as we see with games like Twilight Princess, where like there are still dedicated runners, and that game is still being pushed, but definitely not as many new runners.
The record in that game right now is insane.
Yeah, it's incredibly optimized.
Yeah.
Which Twilight Princess is like the only 3D Zelda now that's much longer than an hour.
It's pure still.
I think also one amazing thing has been people keep coming back to this game. We've had a lot of people that have dropped to this game for like 4 or 5 plus years and then come back and started contributing to the community again because of all of the developments, all of the amazing categories that we do have.
Yeah.
People just keep coming back.
So this right here is actually kind of important. Once you spawn in here, the lights of the Forsaken Fortress are already moving, and they don't stop during the cutscene, as you'll be able to see once I get over the rock. So actually everything here is kind of on a cycle. Because if I'm fast enough here, I can pick up the rupee, some rupees that I need at the Forsaken Fortress without needing to wait for the lights. So yeah, mashing and movement here is like kind of important.
Yeah, it sounds like he might be over-exaggerating, but I mean, when I say that, like, if you, because I'm sure he's done it as well as me, if you're running this and you're a little bit lazy, you kind of just press A and B here, like a little bit sloppily, just losing even just 1 second in the cutscene, that can be enough to miss the cycle. You will see once he gets to Forsaken Fortress, it will almost look like he's rolling through the lights, and he should be getting spotted because it's that tight. But thankfully, like the collision and like the hitbox for getting detected to be thrown into prison here is not as wide as the light itself. But it's still big enough to where you have maybe 1 second to spare from loading in.
That's what I was gonna say. It's probably about a second worth of leniency.
Yeah.
You can lose up to a second, and then it's okay, but much more than that. And your odds of getting caught are pretty high.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where it's not a direct version difference, but just because of the difference in language, English will take longer, and so you cannot even hit this cycle on English.
Yeah.
You can still do like a faster cycle on English. You just have to modify it slightly, but it's not as fast as this would be.
That actually does benefit some other categories in favor, though, because for some sections, like when you're going to enter a cycle, for example, in Dragon Roost, we have to sit around and wait for 10 seconds, while if you're on a slower version like Italian or English, you would still get on the same cycle, you just have less time to wait. So depending on the category, it's not always clear-cut of like, oh, you're always going to lose 5 minutes if you don't play on Japanese.
Oh, that's because of the win cycles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that actually, we were realizing that earlier too, that kind of applies to the ropes in Rope Game 1. And actually, I guess Rope Game 2, like when you go back to get the bombs in the pirate ship, just because the ropes are still moving. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but those are much more minor things, but it still affects that.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see if he gets it.
Are you going
pressure,
for
Yeah,
it?
I never don't. It's baked into my muscle memory for this area.
I mean, I guess like kind of cool to see the jail cell. Anyways.
Oh, I
doesn't work out.
thought we meant the side hop for the gospel zone.
Oh no.
You need this cutscene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't trigger this cutscene, you can't get bombs.
Oh, that's right.
All right. Yeah, you can see right here. Just gonna roll over here and get these 2 rupees here, and then roll around here, and then because the cycle is perfectly timed, this is why it's so tight. I'm not sure if you can see it because of the camera, but that light,
so
that light comes right there, and it might look like it was far away because of the stairs, but that's because it kind of only updates every 3 staircase. It is very easy to get, and very nice window jump right there. He skips 2 loadings by doing that right there.
You can also, there's actually a really cool strat for this. That unfortunately, no one's really like found a consistent way to do. But if you go into the hall, so underneath there's like the hallway that I'm going to be jumping back into. You can go into the corner, and when you go into the corner, you actually trigger this cutscene from the hall, and then you can lure the bokoblin over to the ladder and make him fall. But it's incredibly precise, and it's really annoying to like get right. Okay. And then that saves you needing to come up here and just kill him.
And right there, he dies from 1 spin attack because he falls.
Yeah.
So you have to take the fall damage. So sometimes if you get unlucky, the game just doesn't register fall damage, and you have to go down and actually manually take him down. Oh, no. Oh, okay, at least the bed.
Wait, can I?
That's sick.
Oh,
no.
nope.
Okay.
No.
Don't try something new during a run.
Well, when you landed on that pet, I would have tried it too.
Yeah, no, that was, yeah.
And also, he has to kill that specific bokoblin. That's the only one. Because that happens to be the spotlight that goes around like a place you have to sidle on.
Correct.
Yes. I would say shimmy, but the game doesn't like that word.
I always thought it was slide for a long time.
Just
I didn't
mixing those letters around.
Like, here's a nice title right here.
Yeah.
He says that loading zone extends out past that door. So you just trigger it by sidling onto it.
Yeah, something that's so nice for Wind Waker speedrunning and has been nice for years. This is a weird way to say what I'm about to say. Loading zones are not tied to opening the door itself. The loading zone will be behind the door. The door opening animation just causes you to walk into it. So that's often incredibly useful because if you can get out of bounds, you can still touch a loading zone even behind a locked door.
Yeah.
Now, something important to note here is it seemed like I just rolled past that moblin, and I did, but that's because I picked up the barrel. And I don't know why specifically, but if you pick up the barrel and then drop it, while the moblin is moving specifically, so I can't drop it here unless the moblin's moving. If he's not moving, I have to wait until he's moving. It grants you like this kind of extended invisibility to him.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's theorized that basically Nintendo doesn't want you to be able to put down a barrel after sneaking around him and then instantly getting spotted. It would be a bad game mechanic. So it has two different radius for getting spotted. A big wide one, which is the standard one. And then after you take off a barrel, you have a temporary about 5-10 second shrink hitbox, where it has to be really close to you to be able to see you. So we abuse that. Instead of using it when we get behind him, snuck past him, we instead just pick it up and back down to roll past him.
Minor optimization here. It's slightly faster if you wiggle the control stick, like back and forth between the left edge and the center. Task sidling is very quirky. There are some tasks of this game, and I would highly recommend watching them if you have not seen a task of it before.
Yeah, abahbob actually was one of the early contributors to Wind Waker tasking in its entirety. I mean, that was not a thing that people were doing.
Yeah, those were in the early days when Dolphin was very inconsistent. But it was very fun because a lot of the theorized tricks that we'd found were task only.
Okay, so if you pick up that joy pendant, it gives you a cutscene. But I opened the door at the same time I got the joy pendant, and I have never seen that before.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I've never seen the sound effect play, but there's no text.
I got the joy pendant.
I think one of the craziest things about tasks in this game now is that a lot of the modern routes actually resemble where tasks were about like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Just very similar in routing and all of the research where just the glitches that have been found by people over these years have just made all of these task routes just possible.
Yeah, manual super swim was known about a long time before it was implemented into speedruns. It was just assumed to be impossible for a human to perform.
Yeah.
But now we have Linkus 7, so, things are different now.
Yeah, you would imagine that like when some of the major glitches in this game was found, it would take, weeks or months of research to figure out a good optimal route. But the funny thing is when manual super swim was like figured out for human beings, we had a route on that same day because we're able to just take the route that the tool-assisted speedruns had done.
Years ago.
Yeah, and with barrier skip, because people so badly wanted it, people had made what was called like moon jump percent, where basically they would use a cheat code to moon jump over it. So because of that, we already knew what the route would be if barrier skip was already found. So I know people started running the game literally on that same night, like an hour after both tricks were found.
And those were some of the most insane nights to be watching runs because it was like back to back. People were just making insane progress.
Yep.
Do you remember when Speedruns Live still had the thing? I'm sure it still exists. I just don't find myself on Speedruns Live anymore. But when they had the like streams up and everything, and if a trick was just found in a game you don't even care about that much, the people playing that game would be like at the top of the list. You'd be like, oh, this new Luigi's Mansion skip.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely important to note that like a task gameplay of this is completely on a completely another level compared to like an RTA run. It's insane the things you can do, or the level of optimization you get out of it.
Have we mentioned yet that you have the world record for this category, Ace?
Not.
Okay, the current runner that you are witnessing has the world record, and you should honestly be following him on Twitch right this instant. So the link is cycling beneath him with his, there it is, twitch.tv/chaotic_ace. Go follow Ace. If we could get a shout out in the chat as well. Ace, I heard rumblings that you might be doing any percent soon?
Probably. I'm trying to get a 110 in this. I currently have a 111.39. I want to get a 110. I feel like I'd be leaving like the category's potential like on the table if I didn't, and then probably an 8% or all dungeons. All dungeons is also a phenomenal category. A big complaint people had about the old 80% route before barrier skip was found is that the Triforce quest was like kind of long and boring. But with barrier skip, it's basically the old 80% without that, plus a lot more like cool tricks.
Yeah, All Dungeons is honestly an amazing category. As kind of preparation for commentating this run, I went back and I watched Linkus's All Dungeons run or at GDQX, and God, it is an amazing category to check out.
All Dungeons is kind of the most based category in like all the Zelda games, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
I strongly agree.
I agree with the watching part, not with the running part. It is one of the most probably brutal categories I ever played. I'm amazed that I did not go like way overestimate about that last GDQ run for All Dungeons.
That still does the picture box pumpkin skip, right?
Yes, we did not do that for the GDQ run though.
What did you do?
Just fought him.
Just fought him? Oh, okay. Wait, so that means you don't skip the cutscene as well, right?
Yep.
I don't think it had been discovered yet.
No, it was.
It was?
Yeah, I just chose not to.
I think that's very fair.
Yeah. Yeah, for context, is not going to see it in like this specific run. There is a luck-based way to skip one of the last fights in the game, Puppet Cannon. It is a 1 in 3 chance, and it can technically take up to an infinite amount of tries, and it loses you 2 minutes each attempt. So it would be something that you would have to do in a run, and if you want to get a good record, you have to get it first try. So you have a 1 in 3 chance, 10 minutes before the end of the run.
I mean, this still has, you know,
Yeah,
it's the same.
yeah, you'll
basically
see it.
the same.
Yeah, you will see it later. This has a similar thing,
Different
but
variant of it, basically.
yeah, but yeah, for a GDQ run, because I could choose not to go for it,
Right.
didn't really feel the need to, because the last time I attempted Morphs at a GDQ run, it did not go so well.
So I mean, here we have sailing, which is a rarity in this game at this point.
Yeah.
We are on our way from Windfall to Dragon Roost, and this is going to be. Is this the last sailing section at all in the entire run?
I
Last,
think
first,
so.
and only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also sadly can't see it because you don't have like a good reference point, but he is sailing like way faster than he should. Yeah, when he's moving the camera, you can actually really easily see it right now. That it's like not even able to keep up with him if he's tapping target, because he's constantly doing something called sail pumping by taking out and in the sail. Because each time you take out the sail, the game gives you a little speed boost to kind of like initiate the sailing. So you can abuse it by taking it out and in. I don't know exactly percentage-wise how much more speed you get from it, but it's like quite a lot. You go way faster.
There's a paste bin somewhere that says how
Yeah,
faster it is per
I'm sure
quadrant.
there is, yeah.
It's actually faster in some areas. I forget where exactly right now to do sail pump jumping, which is just that. Where
Yeah.
you like, oh, well, I was going to do it one more
Yeah.
time, but you pull the sail out and then you jump,
Yeah.
actually.
And that's specifically whenever you're going like to different directions in the wind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even as a casual, I think even if you do it unoptimally, you could try that if you ever play this game again, because it's really annoying to constantly change the wind to the perfect direction. And if you're going like 90 degrees off angle, you have no speed, but if you're pumping, even slowly, you will gain way more speed than you ever would just having the sail out.
Oh yeah, I remember doing that to get out to the back of Outset
Yeah.
for getting Jabun's Pearl.
Really quickly, I do want to say, if anybody watching has photosensitivity of any kind, anytime Ace jumps in the water from now on,
Yeah.
I would recommend averting your eyes, and if we could get the photosensitivity warning on stream too, that would be amazing. He's about to do a trick called super swimming that we will explain, and the screen is going to flash incredibly rapidly.
Yeah.
Yep. It basically, it's every frame
Yeah.
that it flashes.
And another quick thing before we get into that explanation, if you pay close attention to the game, you can see Link is blurry. For some reason, in this one cutscene, about 9 out of 10 times it's blurry, but 1 out of 10 times it's in focus. So anytime you watch this game now, you can focus on that.
I actually did not know about that until I was watching Ace last week.
Oh, nice. All right, here we go. Do you want to explain storage,
Yeah.
Ace, or should we?
Go for it.
I feel like abahbob should explain it. This is abahbob's baby.
Man, it's been a long time though. But essentially, so really, what you do is you pull out the Wind Waker and you push yourself against the wall, which makes you do a Wind Waker dive. Canceling that dive within on exactly 3 frames before you touch the ground will put you into a state called storage. So by pulling out the Wind Waker again, Ace now has a thing called camera lock. So the camera will always be facing directly in front of Link. So because of this, by holding forwards, Link will be continuously flipping back and forth. Every single time that Link turns around in the water, he will be subtracting speed, which will essentially make a continuously increasing in negative speed.
And there's no cap in the negative direction, similar to how like Mario 64 BLJ works.
Exactly.
Even though there is a speed cap in the forward direction in this game, which I believe is 18 units per frame.
So Ace did a thing called double storage there, and so essentially he used the King of Red Lion's text box to get storage again. And so now he's going to be opening this chest to get a thing that's called chest storage.
Very,
Be a little careful.
very important note there that I could not have gotten hit by the shoes. If I got hit by the shoes, yeah,
bad.
very bad.
Yeah.
So now he's super swimming in the dark, and it's not just a matter of holding straight up. When you get camera lock, Link is facing either to the left or to the right, and when he does so, Ace needs to hold the analog stick slightly up and to the left or to the right accordingly in order to gain speed most optimally.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Nice.
So when you have chest storage, you can just kind of get an air refill from any platform like this. Actually, there are a number of places you can do it, but this is just one of them. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay.
So here you can also use the pause menu or the map menu to buffer to figure out exactly which direction Link's going to go, since he's flipping around every single frame.
And the reason, did we talk about why he's got chest storage?
No, we haven't.
When you open the chest in this game, Nintendo, in order to get Link to fit, when he like jumps in and picks out the item, Link's hitbox and collision changes slightly. And when we store the opening of the chest, Link's collision goes to that state, but the chest opening animation obviously does not conclude. And so you can see here, Ace will attempt to climb on this pirate ship, which we'll explain in a moment why it's even here. but he's able to walk up walls because his collision is just strange.
Yeah, so after you beat the Forsaken Fortress 1, the ocean is in a very specific state, and it has the pirate ship at outset. So actually what happened, if I drowned there, it would have been pretty bad because it resets the ocean. And then the pirate ship isn't here anymore, and then we have to go get bombs a different way, which actually has a really cool backup for it, involving the Great Fish Super Swim, which was a pretty big part of the old 80% route. But now, because the route's completely different, if you do that, you can actually do the Great Fish Super Swim, but also skip the cutscene, which looks really cool, and the All Dungeons run actually does that.
Yeah.
All Dungeons is like all the good parts of like every category. Well, not every category, but a lot.
And all the hard parts of every category.
Yeah. This right here, you can kind of just like, you can skip some of these ropes by lining up on that box in a pretty precise way.
And also, obviously, typically you get the bombs from the Windfall Island pirate ship, but entering this door takes you to that interior space.
Yeah, and that interior space, its state is actually changed by a flag set when you get the Gossip Stone in Forsaken Fortress 1, which is why I mentioned it was important that you need to get that Gossip Stone.
Yeah.
You can't skip it. And just to be clear, that's the text that you get at the bottom of those stairs in the Forsaken Fortress 1 when you first get there.
Yeah, and we're gonna see a lot more storage throughout this run, and I know that like it might seem extremely overwhelming everything we just explained.
Continues.
Yeah, yeah, it's just gonna continue getting crazier, but just to, I guess, kind of overly simplify it so maybe you can sort of understand what's going on. Basically, what we are doing is we're able to stay in a, imagine that like the game has a 0 and a 1, right? It's a playable state and a restrictive state. And a restrictive state applies to many things in the game, like talking to an NPC, having your Wind Waker out. And in some way, the game is supposed to restrict you. Maybe you can only press A and B. Maybe you can only move the camera, stuff like that. And the individual application of storage is taking advantage of a quirk that a state has. So the Wind Waker, for example, when you take out an Ocarina of Time, or the Wind Waker, you don't want to see Link's, like behind. You want to see the face, and you want to see him physically play the instrument, which is why the game has a camera system where it has to be in front of him. Which is why by being able to move in this state, be in a playable area with the Wind Waker out, you can make him turn around every frame because it has to face him. With the chest, it changes it by changing the hitbox, but you wouldn't notice that in a casual experience. But by staying in a playable state when opening the chest, we can take advantage of that. And that's basically how each individual storage is going to be. It's just going to be that we can play in a non-playable state normally.
So usually you get a cutscene here. What happened here is I got storage for the storage for camera lock, and then I got storage again, and I use the second storage to skip the cutscene that you would normally see at the Forest Haven. I'm gonna do a ledge clip here. Usually, you can do this ledge clip without camera lock, but it's slower.
Yeah, so when Link tries to climb, but there is an object in the climb up space, if you're up again, you will get pushed slightly to the left, and doing this against certain walls will allow you to clip out of bounds. And Link, Ace, this was sick. That was so
Very
sick.
good.
Thanks.
Yeah, doing that ledge clip with camera lock and then super swimming into the loading zone is slightly faster and really, really impressive.
Yeah, so the controls basically get very wonky when you have camera lock active. And what the controls, like what direction a direction on the control stick corresponds with is relative to what direction you were facing when you pulled the Wind Waker out. So I made sure to actually face a specific direction, east, at Windfall before activating camera lock, so that way I have the controls in a predictable way while at Forest Haven to make the bomb ledge clip easier. This right here is going to be the Deku Tree cutscene skip. This is actually pretty complex, but basically, just to sum it up, I'm going to sum it up and let someone else explain it. I'm going to be attempting to void out and have the cutscene play at the same time.
Linkus, you want to take this one?
Sure,
Here's
yeah.
the bonk.
Yeah, so he's going to get storage and then bonk the tree, which will interrupt the chew animation. So you can see right now, they're kind of just moving forward. Imagine that their AI is basically turned off. So you just keep going forward. And normally, what would happen, right, is you kill all the chews, and then immediately a cutscene starts of, hey, here's the Deku leaf. But what we're going to do instead, since you're constantly moving forward, is we will carefully try and push the chews out of bounds. Because what will happen is they will go out of bounds, fall really far below the map, and then just despawn. And according to the game, that would be the same as if you killed it, right? Because they basically, disappeared. So why are we doing this? Well, the entire purpose of doing this is so that we can delay a death of a chew. Because it takes about, oh no.
1, 2,
Hold on, we got really unlucky.
3, 4. I don't know about this.
5.
Should I go here? Should I go here?
Yeah.
I don't think that worked. That's early, so I can attempt it again. Okay, so I can attempt it again.
That's fine. Okay, that's really unlucky.
Ideally there, I didn't clip both of those chews out at once, which is really unfortunate, but it's okay. I can just attempt it again.
Just make sure you don't take damage by muscle memory by the bombs here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like we said, the purpose of this entire thing is so that we can delay the chew. Because you can see right there, after you push the last 2 chews, he was playing for about 10 seconds until he walked underneath the Deku tree there. Because it takes about 10 seconds for you pushing them out of bounds until the despawn. So what the goal here is that he will basically push the last chew out of bounds at a very specific time. And then he will walk underneath the Deku tree's head and get crushed. So he will start voiding out from getting crushed. And then while the game is voiding out to respawn him, the chew dies. And he goes, oh, all the chews are dead. Start the cutscene. Which will result in the cutscene being skipped. And that's why it was really unfortunate there. He got really unlucky that both got pushed out at the same time. Because he wants one left so he can kind of, by a visual cue, tell when he should push the last one out of bounds.
And it's a genius little visual cue, too. Using the bobbing of the Deku tree's head, you can count roughly how long it's been.
Yeah.
Again, we have this weird setup with 2 chews in the corner. Nice.
There we go. All right, here.
So let's see here. Yeah, so you can see he's going to pay attention. And then side up at the right time. Chew got pushed out of bounds, and now he has to count.
2, 3. Okay,
let's see.
that worked.
Nice.
Yeah, that worked. So what you can tell when you fade out.
Nice.
When the fade out happens, you will see like those little black bars zoom in from the top and bottom of the screen. If you actually got it. Now, however, though, you've noticed I've been damaging down here. I'm gonna kill myself and hopefully not die. So I'm gonna do a zombie hover.
Yeah, so when Link dies in this game, you actually have a few frames where you're actionable. So Ace is going to attempt to jump slash just like that. There is a few frame window for that where your sword is out, you're targeting, and you press A. Then, after you lift off, that's called the lift off, before Link touches the ground again, you can do mid-air jump slashes in this game, but the game keeps trying to kill you every time. So you jump slash mid-air, and then the game's like, well, you can't do a proper jump slash, you're dead, dummy. And so you just keep pressing B over and over and over again to gain height. The thing that makes this trick so wildly difficult, obviously it's physically strenuous, but it's not just pure mashing. You actually want to do a rhythm that is really fast, but not too fast. Because if you mash ungodly quickly, the game can't read every input. Anything faster than 15 mashes per second, and the game will start dropping inputs because it runs at 30 frames per second, and you have to release for a frame after you press for a frame.
Yes.
Plus, for some of these hovers, you want to actually time them more specifically. So it's not just about trying to have the most most flashes. It's about actually just trying to line up and ride that tree perfectly so that you line up to get the Deku Leaf.
Yeah, we also have to do that there because usually you're supposed to have the grappling hook from Dragon's Cavern to get up to the Deku Leaf.
It's literally one grappling hook spot that you have to skip, just one.
Also, are we doing the fairy super swim?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah, he's got a setup for it and everything.
Yep.
Okay, are you
That
okay?
for Super Swim's wild.
Yeah, so this is actually this is one of the only Super Swim setups that we currently have. It's pretty precise, so we can I didn't have to listen, potentially. Yeah, I have to listen. Okay, this is the setup I have to listen for.
Okay.
I'm gonna use the sounds of Link drowning to figure out when I should start pause buffering.
The words audio cue mean nothing to Linkus. We may have to explain it.
So basically, I have to stop a little bit until I have to listen, so I can start to explain. I'm gonna be listening for Link to start to drown. He makes like these glubbing sounds, and after the second time he makes that sound, I'm gonna be pause buffering to a certain frame, then making an adjustment. That should be it.
That looks good.
I have to pause a couple times. Oh, usually I listen to my Wii. I forgot about this.
I have
What do you mean you listen to, like the disk drive? Yes,
Nice.
dude.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So
I
usually
know that looked impressive, but I promise it's like 10 times more impressive than it looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so usually, yes, I listened to my Wii, and I used to do this for the Greyfish Super Swim 2 and the Diamond State Super Swim in the old route. When the Wii starts to load certain islands or certain areas, it will start to spin the disc.
Yeah,
in
it goes
its
like
drive, and I usually listen to that. I completely forgot about that until then, so I just kind of...
That's nuts.
Yeah, so that Super Swim has 2 different setups depending upon which, where the camera is in front of Link. When you pull the Wind Waker for camera lock, or when you pull the Wind Waker in general, the camera can be in front of Link and to the left, or in front of Link and to the right, and depending on where that is in front of him, what direction you need to hold, or the setup you need to do is different.
Yeah, and you will see right here when we leave, by the way. So the reason we did this whole Super Swim is there is 3 vines here, but there's also an invisible wall. And we cannot get through that invisible wall in any regard, really, without getting a bunch of other setups with storage and chest storage, and it's really slow. Beautiful.
Nice.
The silliest storage spot in
yeah.
the entire route.
So the reason that Super Swim is so precise is because he has to get to the island when it's half loaded. Because this game, since it's a GameCube game, it loads islands in chunks. So it's a rough, like, kind of gray outline of the island. Then it half loads it with the collision and some of the objects. And then it does, like, kind of a fine loading with all of them. So in the middle of that loading zone state, the invisible wall will not be there, but the rest of the island will. And we have to get into the loading zone at that point.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning if you get there too early, the island won't be loaded at all, so you'll just swim right through where it would
Exactly.
That was also a concern of mine, because I feel like my Wii's loading time is somewhat slow. So
Yeah.
quite frequently, I'll get there before I'm supposed to.
Yeah, not every Wii is created equal, it turns out.
Yeah.
So this is going to be another instance of double storage, which I'm going to use, again, similar to how I did at Crescent Moon, to get camera lock and get storage from a chest. So that I have that altered like collision state. If I can get storage again.
Surprisingly, I mean, those of you who are aware of the order of events for Wind Waker, if you play the game normally, you would not think that we're about to go to the end of the game, but that is what's about to happen.
Yes.
So Ace is going to get chest storage here in order to clip into Forsaken Fortress 2. Again, swimming in the dark here, but we need that chest storage in order to get into the Helmarock boss area.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be noted, we have every item to beat the game now.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a speedrunner.
Yeah, the bombs and leaves, the bombs in Deku Leaf are incredibly, incredibly powerful.
So here you actually have,
setup here scares me, by the way.
I have what, sorry?
Your setup scares me here.
I mean, you have a little bit of lenience with visual cues with the whirlwinds and the lightning.
I can't. Oh, what? Oh, I can see, okay. That
Do you,
lightning.
get,
that
do you
lightning.
charge on the reef?
Yeah, no, I usually don't.
Wait, what?
I feel like charge here for sure. Oh, just the air refill?
Oh, that was...
Did you not clip through the reef? It looked like you
I
did.
clipped through the
Oh,
leaf,
wow.
and then I got like a, that was really weird.
Oh, well, that's really lucky.
Yeah.
So what you can do is, if you're fast enough, you can do this swim before it starts to storm, which makes it very easy to see that reef, and you can just swim against a reef for an air refill. But unfortunately, I was a little slow. Oh, okay. Ooh. All right, air refills fine. Where am I?
I think you're too high
Okay,
up.
yeah, here we are. Here I am. Oh wait, have you not seen this, Lucas?
No?
There's a new thing, yeah, you
That's
climb the...
faster. I found this spot like a month or 2 ago or something.
Oh.
If I could just clip through here. Yeah, so again, because of chest storage, you can interact with the walls really strangely. And this is so much faster because you don't need to swim. And you don't need to do like well, I guess you don't do the Wind Waker dive with storage anyway, but you don't spend all that time in the water.
You also saw the game try to make it daytime, but then once Ace was within the playable area of Forsaken Fortress 2, the game was like, oh no, it's supposed to be night here.
Chest storage is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's worth a round of applause for sure. That is a long super swim with chest storage.
So those last 4, so once you get the Wind Waker to here, you can lose so much time. That's like, I would argue that's like the hardest part of the run.
Did you actually make the safety save on Cabana?
I did not, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't say anything, but that's why I said this setup is scaring me, because he was getting very low in air and he did not make a safety save.
Yeah, so I usually get pretty low on air there and then just get a refill at the reef. But I had trouble charging. I had trouble like controlling the swim towards the end of it, which is where when I started to get concerned.
That's definitely one of the spooky ones because anytime you use chest storage to open or use storage and you open a chest, that chest is permanently open. So you will no longer be able to actually get chest storage again to clip in.
Yeah, so when you're charging, I don't know if you guys mentioned it, but when you're charging a swim, you don't actually hold straight up.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to hold like opposite the camera.
Also for photosensitivity, I think that's the last super swim we will see.
Yes.
So you are A-okay from here to the end.
Poggers.
Poggers indeed, Linkus. It's been said. It's been said.
I feel like there hasn't been a lot of Twitch emotes, you know, in this run so
Should we
far.
fire off a few real quick?
Yeah.
I did Bible Thump earlier.
Oh, you did too. Let's do some old ones. Blood Trail,
Franker Z.
Dan's game.
Dan's game,
Forehead.
Omega Lol. That's new.
That's way
That's
new.
definitely
That's new.
to be grouped in with. Yeah. Also, I didn't realize how broken this cutscene is in some scenes until abahbob pointed out the other day. So right here, in a moment, Link just like stops moving. Oh, Ariel stops moving there. She's completely frozen. And then during this next scene, Link is just like staring at the camera, and it's just kind of weird. He seems rather awkward here. He's like not looking at.
We need to fix my man's eye line.
I never thought
Get the
anything of
director
that
in here.
until he pointed it out.
Yeah.
I can't unsee it.
Cut, Link, homie, look at the actress.
I love this game.
It's so
Right?
Yeah. Just thinking about it right now.
It's
a great
kind of
game.
nice. When you're sitting on the back couch, it's nice. When you're playing the game, you're like, I hate this game. But when you're sitting back here, you're like, oh, this is a good game.
Yeah.
Look, I've only had to do outside once so far, so I'm not quite at that point yet.
It beats Great Sky Island.
Oh, yeah.
Great Sky Island was that like 40 minutes still? Or no, it's closer to 30, right?
I mean, you have the intro as well, though. Good old 7 minutes to get into the game.
So upcoming is the Helmrock King boss fight. We've known it was possible to skip this boss fight through various means for easily a decade. But the most modern version, which it's even weird to say that, it was discovered like 6 years ago. But the most modern version does not require a zombie hover, which is great.
Yeah, there are so many ways to actually skip this boss. I can think of like 5 or 6, I think, right off the bat, and there might be like 1 or 2 I don't know about or I'm not remembering.
Are you doing the new setup one?
I don't know. I don't need setups.
You're doing DQ leaf?
Well, if I could roll first, that would be a great start. Yeah, leafing and walk clipping.
Yeah.
So there's a technique in the game called roll clipping, which I'm going to do for trial skip, but you can do it here, which involves climbing a ledge that while you're partially in a wall, and then once you get on top of the ledge, the first frame that you can move, if you roll, you can roll into the wall. However, in a lot of places where you can roll clip, you can also do what's called a walk clip, which involves damaging down to 1.5 hearts, which affects Link's hitbox because he kind of like bends over and pants. And then when he does that, you can just walk into some ledges that you would usually need to roll clip into otherwise.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so right here, I'm just gonna grab this ledge with a somewhat precise angle. And then I'm just able to walk into it.
Nice.
So if I was to do a roll clip there, it saves some time, but it's frame perfect, and it's just a good idea not to go for it. In fact, even in attempts right now, I'm not really going for it, unless like the run is bad.
Yeah.
Because it only saves like 5-ish seconds or so, I believe, to skip taking that damage.
Hey, nice EMS, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, so you get the Master Sword from this cutscene.
Yeah. Yeah, if you never watched a run of this before, you may be very confused. Why are we in Forsaken Fortress 2? This seems like a very strange way to play the game. So there's a few objectives to going here. So one, we need to get down to Hyrule. And the only 3 ways to do it is either like have the full Triforce, you don't want to do. The other option is to go through Tower of the Gods, which is very slow because then you have to do all the other dungeons. And the last one is to go through here. But there's a second kind of secret reason for going through it specifically here. There's sort of a fail-safe in Wind Waker to try and avoid sequence breaking. So when it comes to like all of these animations that are used by Link in these cutscenes, you can imagine that there's like early game cutscenes and end game cutscenes. It's called the animation set. So if you watch a cutscene out of order, the game will just crash. And that is changed by the Helmrock cutscene we just watched. So you have to go through this cutscene no matter what to be able to beat the game.
Yeah, so a couple examples of that would be the cutscene for getting the Wind Gods aria and the Earth Gods lyric at the Wind Temple, Earth Temple, or Blue Island and Headstone Island. There are a myriad of ways to clip into those islands early, but if you go there and you try to learn those songs before actually watching this cutscene, it'll crash. And then you can come back to Forsaken Fortress 2 and try to re-enter this area. It will crash. Puppet Ganon doesn't crash if you try to watch that before this, does it?
I know Ganon does. I don't know about Puppet Ganon. It's also very fortunate, as you say, they kind of mentioned, oh, hey, EMS, early Master Sword, they mentioned that. you cannot deal any damage to Phantom Ganon without a Master Sword. It's just not possible at all. But the game will assume kind of that you have an item, because items are used throughout these cutscenes. And since these are being actually played in game and are not pre-recorded, normally if you have a Master Sword and you watch this cutscene, it will just replace your Master Sword with the identical Master Sword. So you wouldn't even know the game is programmed that way. But since we sequence break and we're missing the items, we're basically getting items that we never had to begin with. And this Master Sword is mandatory to beat the game since we have to fight Phantom Ganon. So it's very fortunate we get that.
Well, you can skip Phantom Ganon.
Yeah, but not in this category.
Yeah. And there will be one more instance of this where we'll get the fully powered Master Sword and the Mirror Shield from a cutscene later.
Yep.
Well, I guess if we weren't able to skip that, then we just wouldn't have skipped up again and no MSS. It would have been
that is
essential.
true.
It would have been essential.
Yeah.
It is interesting that the game will give you certain items, but then you'll have cutscenes like this where the Tower of the Gods is nowhere to be seen because you completely skipped it. And so Link is just out in the middle of nowhere with a random golden circle glowing in front of him.
Yeah, King Baloo is supposed to be sitting on Tower of the Gods right now.
Instead, he sits on nothing.
Yeah, I think Dragonbane or someone looked into it. I think it's something specific to do with equipment items. Like if it's like on a B button, like if it's physically on a button that's equipped, it stays in your inventory. Something like that, which is why you kind of permanently get the items from these cutscenes.
Which is interesting because, you know, with the manual super swim route, like the normal 90% route, you skip getting the clothes. And so you're wearing the lobster outfit.
Yep.
And so you never get, but these cutscenes do not give Link the hero's tunic.
Yep, because of New Game Plus.
Oh, yeah.
Because in New Game Plus, they don't want your outfit to update when you go into the cutscenes.
That makes a lot of sense.
However, if you have the tunic, you will on one cutscene get the green tunic and then it will disappear.
Really?
The game will, in a few specific cutscenes, like the one we just watched with Ganon, it will put on the green tunic and then it will come back off.
There's in like FF1, you have the Master Sword for one frame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When is that?
I just saw this in the Discord like 2 months ago. Also, coming up is probably the biggest discovery in Wind Waker speedrunning history, I would argue.
It was long a myth, a legend of something that people have, strived to find.
Yep.
It was originally found in Wind Waker HD, and we all thought the person that found it was lying, and then it turns out they were not lying. And then since then, there have been a myriad of different ways theorized and proven to skip the barrier, and the current setup is really amazing.
Yeah, if you watch the last any % Wind Waker GameCube run that was at GDQ, we used the memory corruption.
Yeah.
So you're going to notice that this is going to be very different compared to the last Wind Waker any % run featured at a GDQ, if you haven't seen a run since then.
I would say that this trick you're about to see is sort of like the magnum opus of a community effort. Like the last decade or so of Wind Waker speedrunning and speedrunning knowledge has culminated in what you're about to see.
Yeah. Would you like to explain it, Ace?
Yeah, so real quick, it's basically what we call a bomb push clip, except with an incredibly precise position and angle.
Yeah.
So there's two parts of the barrier. There's a physical wall, and then there's this knockback barrier. So to get through the knockback barrier, I'm just going to pull the Wind Waker at a certain time. That was like a frame early. That was correct. Ooh, okay, and then I blew it.
I have never timed this, by the way. I just mashed.
No, I time it.
You just mashed?
I just mashed.
Yes, this is a Wind Waker damage cancel. If you pull the Wind Waker on the same frame, you take damage by knockback or what have you.
Yeah.
You don't get knocked back.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, you pull on the same frame.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do a very precise setup.
He's moving Tetra so that she doesn't get in the way.
I think he's going to get in the way anyway.
No, I think you're fine.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So if you push her, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can also see on the left there's a wall stopping him, even though we're behind the visual one.
And then I need to get a very precise angle. That was probably fast. It's fine.
Going for the backup. Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Beautiful.
So there's two
try.
frames that work for that, which is really nice. If you miss the first frame that you want to pause on, you can just like do an extra rotation, and then you have a backup frame that you can go for. Yeah, so that's a frame perfect bomb drop with a very, very, very precise position and angle. And because there's a very slight gap there in the physical wall, which when that trick was initially found, bomb push clipping, I actually accidentally found that. a very long time ago. And of course, day one, after we found it, we were like, what if we just bomb, push, clip through the barrier? No one thought it would actually happen, and someone actually ended up uploading a video of them splicing themselves through the barrier with a bomb push clip. And it just happened like years and years and years later.
Yeah, and what you mentioned earlier about community effort
Yeah.
to find these. For these bomb pushes right here, some community members basically wrote programs that ran like 10 instances of Wind Waker at the same time, where it was just literally running thousands of attempts of different coordinates of pixels and angles. And then it would just kind of give him a ping in his computer after like days or weeks of running of like if the clip worked. So that's so precise that a human could not actually like figure out the setup. So that was all done by just a computer doing attempts for us.
Yeah.
Over the years, there were so many various theories, and
Yeah.
people put in like individuals put in hundreds of hours, and then of course we had like thousands of machine hours with those
Yep.
programs.
So this is a pretty precise clip. Instead of using a bomb to clip himself out of bounds, that's not what Ace wants here. Ace wants to be able to jump off this ledge from the roll, like that. And now this is leaf pumping. By dropping and then repumping the leaf immediately, you can retain height far better than if you're just pressing the Deku leaf over and over again.
Yeah.
The one downside of that is it does drain your magic very quickly, and so in a lot of places you'll have to route in specifically where you're going to refill your magic if you need to
Ooh.
do it again.
Oh, is that
That's three. That's 3 bombs.
Oh my! Enter the. Okay, enter the. Okay, so you can sidle against that,
Yeah.
hit the loading zone through the door. You can actually also do a bomb push into that loading zone.
Oh, can you?
Yes, you can.
That's
It is,
cute.
It's much more precise though. I do need to get some extra hearts. But yeah, so that right there was a roll clip. That was the same trick I mentioned while
Yeah.
doing Helm Rock Skip.
Yeah, fundamentally works the same as the Helm Rock Skip, theoretically speaking, just that this one we have to manually roll. And that's just because then on the first frame when the game checks for a collision, Link is out of bounds, so it's not going to attempt to push him. And right here is going to do the Phantom Ganon Mace, which if you know is a casual, you're supposed to take down Phantom Ganon and his sword will point you in the right direction. Thankfully, unlike some other Zelda games, like Link's Awakening, where it kind of changes the order of the egg and stuff like that, in Wind Waker, it is always going to be down, left, up, left, right, up, I want to say. Yeah. So we're just going to immediately roll each time.
Not me trying to skid at every door.
You got this one.
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
So there's this very, very minor movement optimization called a skid,
Yeah.
where you can hold backwards, or you can hold the control stick in the direction opposite you're currently running, and Link will kind of skid forward. Here, I'll just do it here, like that. And it's faster when you can't squeeze in a roll between yourself and wherever you're trying to go.
I did not know that.
I didn't know it until like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's faster than walking, but yeah. And that way you don't bonk.
Yeah, I learned it like a few days ago as well.
I'm gonna do it again here.
Ace, for what it's worth, you're on 3 bonks. I don't know if you want to
Squeeze in a few more.
squeeze in a few more bonks, but that's up to you.
I could.
That's up to you and your bank account and our bank account.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's possible to skip light arrows, but that also means you have to skip up again.
So that's one of the main differences between any percent and any percent no manual super swims is that Puppet Ganon is explicitly not allowed in this category.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Yeah, you might think it's strange that a category like no manual super swim would ban it. That's why it's called a quote-unquote beginner-friendly category, because I would make the statement that Puppet Ganon Skip is one of the hardest speedrun tricks out of almost any speedrun out there.
I would agree. In fact, I would say that Aloha's current world record in Wind Waker any percent is one of the most impressive speedruns I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It is truly insane.
Although just a few days ago, Ace was saying that he almost wishes that Puppet Ganon Skip was allowed because it's at least consistent. So apparently it's
Oh, as
great.
opposed to the
Yeah.
more...
Yeah.
Oh, am I gonna die? Let's not do that.
So Ace is trying to go for double shots here. A little ball bang, YY ladder stall action.
Why not?
Oh, yeah.
This is a skull necklace. Okay.
It's a really nice item, though.
I wanted to kill them to get bombs. I might as well get a heart here. Okay, I guess I won't.
You have to pick up hearts anyways, though, for the magic drops.
Yeah, I'm getting them from the Dark Nut.
Yeah. Yeah, even if Ace has perfect aim, there is no way to, with just one half magic bar, which we have since we didn't get the magic upgrade, go through the entire fight of Puppet Cannon. And to kind of help out a casual, the game will change the drop rates of certain items depending on how much hearts you have. So if he has less than,
2.5 hearts.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2.5 hearts in this fight. It will prioritize only giving him hearts, basically. And we need magic and slash or arrows.
Yeah, so you with the magic that I have now, I have 8 light arrows. It takes 9 light arrows to kill Puppet Cannon. There's a potential of missing, and then you want some magic after the fight as well.
Yeah.
Without having to pick up a magic drop.
Yeah.
So this fight has 3 phases to it, and I believe during the first and second phases there will be keys that spawn, which can drop hearts or magic, and then during the third phase there are morts that spawn, which will be able to give the drops. The morts are quite a bit more annoying, and they're also respawn on a delay. So ideally you're getting your magic drops during phase 2.
Yeah, phase 2, there's a chance you don't get any magic drops from the keys. It happens annoyingly often to me, I feel.
Yeah.
But it's pretty rare that it doesn't happens. So.
Another important thing to mention that I think we kind of glossed over because there's so many other tricks to mention is you might be very confused about the light arrows situation going on. So you can kind of imagine the game is like 3 bow items. So it's like bow 1, 2, 3. So when you get the fire and ice element, it kind of just replaces the bow item with 2 elements. And when we get the light arrows, it just gives us the bows with all 3 elements. The difference in between getting it there, though, compared to getting the bow and arrow in Tower of the Gods, where you normally should get it in a playthrough, is that the later 2 ones do not give you a quiver. And that is why he went to the Fairy Island early to get that upgraded quiver. So that's why we have 60 arrows and a bow with all 3 elements.
Also, no boomerang here.
No boomerang.
So Ace is going to be shooting the tail without knocking it down. Good luck, Ace.
Thank you. Do you guys think Puppet Cannon, do you think you can bonk on him?
I think you can bonk on the 3rd phase.
Probably.
You could bonk on the middle part
On
while
the
waiting for him to drop
Yeah,
down.
the pedestal.
Well, I meant like on the boss
No,
himself.
no, I think he's a good position.
So these shots are really, really hard.
Yeah, it's also slightly luck-based. I'm not saying that it's only, but you can get unlucky with making it easier or harder for you, even though you can almost always react to them. Because sometimes you will stay very still, and sometimes you'll move a lot.
So Ace will often be waiting for these. When Puppet Cannon is winding up the fist attack, his tail moves more slowly.
Yeah.
And so Ace will often be waiting for that, like this.
Yep.
I think
we have.
Do I have another arrow?
I think we have to get a magic drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when he starts spinning around the key spawn,
At least we'll be less reliable on bad luck on second phase now.
Just gonna wait for him to attack.
Yeah.
When he attacks, it's super predictable, but you don't want to wait for him to attack because it just wastes a lot of time.
Spider phase.
Yeah, Spider phase, second phase has like a really, really, really cool double shot you can do on it. Shout out to Cryptic for that.
Trip shot, baby.
Trip shot.
You don't want to go for triple?
I haven't learned it.
Let's go for it.
I don't know it.
Yeah, theoretically, you could just shoot
I
straight
could
up
just
and hit
shoot
him.
somewhere and hope I hit.
Yeah, but
There is a chance.
there's actual setups to make the double shot consistent. Triple shot is not for humans, but the double shot's pretty good. So let's see if we can get it here. Oh,
A little bit
almost.
early, I think? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because he always moves upwards after an attack the same way, which is why...
Arrows? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
One-
I can go for it one more time here.
Yeah. Let's see. Nice. Very clean.
Ideally, you get that on the first, the first and second shot, because then on the third shot, you let him fall on you and deal a heart of damage to you, because I'm gonna have to damage down here for another hover shortly. For this, you just want him to run into you with a bomb in your hand. You want him to run into you though, and you don't want the bomb to go off to stop him because he does half a heart. Okay, he does half a heart if he runs into you. The bomb only does a quarter heart, and again, I'm gonna need to die shortly. So
Yeah, we're gonna have another zombie ever coming up later. Sure, no more on you.
Okay,
Good. Very clean. That's Puppet Cannon.
the task of that, the optimal Puppet Cannon task is insane as
Yeah.
well. I think the entire fight is like less than a minute.
Yeah.
And you get storage during the cutscenes. Actually, the second phase, you get storage. You have control of Link during the cutscene, and then you kill Puppet Cannon before that cutscene. You kill the second phase before the cutscene is even over.
Yeah.
That sounds viable. I bet you could do that.
Yeah, Ace, why didn't you do that?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like you should have done it. But.
It's because the camera is at the top of the room.
Yeah, I'm just hearing excuses.
So up next, this climbing portion, we don't have the grappling hook and we don't have the hook shot.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to use the grappling hook to get up to the second tier, which is relatively easy to skip.
Yeah.
And then the final bit where you go up into Ganon's like little lair, you need the hook shot for that typically, and that skip sucks.
I would argue they both suck.
Well,
So-
they both suck.
Yeah. So what Linkus was talking about before with Puppet Ganon.
Dude, this mashing is nuts.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. in case I
Nice.
fall.
Yeah,
you can
don't
just,
get greedy.
Yeah, you can kind of just
Yeah.
hold R and then like mash the A button to climb most of the rope. You can go almost all the way up, but you have to like mash really precisely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are at the top of this room there's a warp pot with a wooden lid on it, and there are also morths up there.
Yep.
And what you can do is through the floor, shoot a morth with a fire arrow. The morth gets lit on fire,
You can actually hear in the audio right now him physically getting hit. Right
and then
there.
hopefully it flies towards the warp pot and burns it. It's a 1 in 3 chance. I have 2 morths I can shoot.
Yep.
And then I can do 2 things. I can do a backup hover, or I can void out and try it again. So I'm gonna void out and try it one more time if this one doesn't happen. And then if I still don't get it, okay, so the morph.
Unfortunate.
Okay, so I'm gonna void out and try it again, and then if it doesn't happen, then I will do the backup hover. 'Cause the backup hover is consistent, but that's slower.
Yeah.
The void out respawns the morphs, so you can try again.
Yep.
It's a very convenient spot to be able to void out very quickly up there.
Yeah. Yeah, this entire thing being luck is just because Nintendo has this obsession with immersion. Because normally with most enemies in this game, if you kill them, they have the same death animation. With the morphs, Nintendo wanted a different death animation for the morph. So they can kind of die in place, they can bounce a little bit far back, or a far bounce. And it's completely based upon luck. There's no other factor around it. It's not how you shoot, it's just pure luck.
Well, they wanted it to be a lot like real morphs.
Yeah.
Of course.
And when I kill a real morph in real life, you know, those bounces feel normal to me. So.
Yeah.
It's also very convenient that skip there exists on the chain.
Yeah.
If you don't hold shield when you do that backflip through it with a precise angle and position, then you end up getting crushed, as I did to respawn in the area.
Yeah.
North, please. RNG, please.
Yeah. So let's hope for a far bounce, because if it doesn't get the furthest bounce, it won't hit the warp pod and burn the lid.
Should I try one more time? If it
I
doesn't
think
do it?
I think you should try it one more time.
Okay. All right. I'll try one more time.
The backup here is
Yeah.
much more difficult, but not
Yes.
luck dependent.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also very cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
I would argue they're still both really cool, but
Yeah, the shooting the morph with the fire arrow so that the morph catches on fire and then bounces over to the warp pot wood and burns it out is like a really sick solution to this problem. It's just unfortunate that it's a pure 1 in 3.
yeah, if you don't know what's going on here, you're kind of just looking. You might just be watching me like, what is he doing? But yeah,
Yeah.
something is supposed to be happening.
And like Ace mentioned earlier, and what we were talking about earlier about how I chose not to do Puppet Ganon and skip my All Dungeons run. This trick on All Dungeons is technically optional, so I didn't want to risk actually getting stuck at this trick.
Right.
Here in this category, though, it's mandatory. You can't just choose to fight him, or just not skip this. Sorry.
Does this look good? No, this looks good to me.
This looks good, I think.
Come on.
You'll hear the time that it works, you'll hear the burning
Yeah.
There'll be a
continue.
cutscene too.
And the cutscene plays after a second or two as well.
Okay, it looks like we're doing the hover.
Nah, it's this one.
No, this won't work. Trust me.
You think so?
Okay, well,
Alrighty, we're doing the hover.
good luck.
I've never seen anyone do this hover, but I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, so there's 2 outcomes of this hover. I do the entire thing successfully, and then I will be at the top of this room with the warp pot burned, or lid burned, or I will do the first part successfully, and I will then die and have to climb back up here, or come back, which is okay because I will be able to use the warp pot to go up.
Yeah, so the problem here, obviously, what Ace would like to do is survive, but when you are dying to do a zombie hover... Okay. When you're dying to do a zombie hover, you need to fall onto a recovery heart or a fairy in order to regain your health so that when you touch the ground, you don't die. So Ace is going to be attempting to blow up the warp pot lid and then blow up a fairy pot, land on the fairy to resurrect, and then keep moving around. But again, if he dies, it's not the end of the world because breaking the warp pot is still nice.
Yeah.
In order to drop a bomb mid-zombie hover, he's going to pull the bomb, then the Deku Leaf, which will drop the bomb.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to see the shadow right now.
I think now's good. Yeah, that looks good to me.
So now he's slowing himself down so that the fairy's there.
Got it.
Nice, dude. Oh my
Nice.
God.
So you can hear during the cutscene whether or not the fairy starts to heal you. If you
Yeah.
don't land on the fairy as soon as the pot blows up, the fairy has a very, very, very good chance of just flying off and ignoring you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part one. Part two, these morths, I'm going to get one attached to me. Well, so
Yeah.
I'm going to kill one at the same time it gets attached to me. And that's going to guarantee that it drops a heart. Because I'm basically killing it with my sword. It registers that it kills it with a sword. And then I'm going to blow it up onto that platform over there. And then I'm going to use the bow to shoot it, and I'm going to hover up to it. Oh, whoops, that was... Well, I'm going to reset this.
Just don't take full damage.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll just do that.
Yes, the warp pot fully reloads the area, same way
Yeah.
Voiding Out did.
There's a little setup here for this first one, luckily.
Yeah.
So now the Morth, the way he moves when you roll
Oh, no, he didn't go high enough.
is random, as you just saw.
Oh, please.
Oh, that's scary. Maybe we should wait.
Don't. I had so much time, I could have definitely.
He's really coming over.
He's like, please,
He's chasing
Link,
you.
Link.
That would have been great during fairy hover attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this trick
Okay.
is already bad. Used to be worse, as Linkus
Yeah.
will tell you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have to get it up onto the platform.
Yeah, that was really clean. Yeah, you might be confused why we have to slash the morph and then have it attached to us on the same frame. Why not just blow it? These morphs are specifically programmed because during the Phantom Ganon fight, he will run into the morphs and kill them. So it doesn't want like 1,000 drops to happen during a fight. So they made it that it has to be Master Sword damage to get a drop.
Okay, I meant to get a backup morph, but it's okay.
Oh yeah, 2 hearts.
Yeah, that would be. So Ganon does
Yeah.
a full heart of damage with all of his attacks. And so if you don't have the backup Morph, that means you cannot get hit.
Yeah.
So Ace moves the Morph by moving, and the Morph wants to attach to Link.
Yep.
This is the same principle as before. Ace just needs to land on this heart. Well done.
Nice. Beautiful morph ever.
It's really unfortunate that, what was it? Was it 6 morphs then? Because I voted out twice, right?
Yeah, it was-
so
That was a lot. Yeah.
Which is well above
Yep.
expected value.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's crazy like how optimized it feels like the run's starting to
Yeah.
get. Like after getting, once getting a 110 is gonna be really difficult
Yeah.
to improve upon unless more is found. Because you have to get that morph you have to get the morph to burn the pot first try, and then
Yeah.
you want the morph to go in the direction you want. And then you need a good run up to that point where you
Yep.
do everything really fast and basically first try, so. This went really well though.
No, it went really well. I think it's also funny to mention that everything we did, you would imagine it's like an enormous skip of everything we did. And it's only because we can't reach a platform because of a hook shot. Like,
Yeah.
that's the entire reason we're doing everything we just did. It's not really skipping much of anything. It's just
One
platforms.
item checked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you have the hook shot, if you have the hook shot, even if you don't have the grapple, you can just hook shot straight up to the
Yeah,
the wooden
yeah.
platform.
You can skip that too.
Yep.
And it's crazy that it's the very last bit of the game.
Yep.
Right before the final boss. It's one of these mandatory hard checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so interestingly, in all dungeons, so what you do is you skip the Puppet Ganon cutscene, which ends up not spawning Puppet Ganon,
Yep.
and then you clip out of bounds, and then using the bow and the Picto Box, you do a setup out of bounds and shoot a fire arrow at the morph from the ground level before you'd even climb the rope. And then you have to zoom in on that top area with the Picto Box. I think a telescope works too, right?
Yes.
I believe, yeah, so you have to zoom in to load everything in that area, otherwise it won't register that the fire arrow hit the morph.
Yeah.
Because they won't be there.
Yeah, it's one of the unfortunate things of Wind Waker speedrunning, I think. Not maybe for a viewer, I think it kind of built a lot of hype, but as a runner, specifically if you're a top runner, which is that almost every one of the Wind Waker categories has a 1 in 3 luck element in the last 5 minutes. I think every category now, I think 100% does it too.
Yep.
So every single category, it doesn't matter how well you play, you can lose it because you didn't get a 1 in 3 luck chance.
Except
in
for
the
any
last
percent,
5 minutes.
right?
Yes, except for any percent because you can do a hard but consistent theoretical skip. So,
I was gonna say,
quite
do
punishing.
you want to knock out some donations before the end of the run here?
Sure
Oh, we
thing.
have
But I would like to
couple
make a
minutes
note that we're actually $85 away from 15,000. So let's get that going, everyone.
Yeah.
Whew. And then we do have a donation from Brian Nato with $50. Buy a man, eat fish. He did. teach a fishman to a lifetime. Okay, thank you for that.
Thanks, Bri. Don't know what that meant. Is that good? Is that good?
Yeah,
That was
that's
very
good.
good.
Nice. What's the final bonk count? Because I don't think you can. No, you can bonk here, can't you? Or do you
No,
take damage?
No, you
you
take
take, you
damage.
take damage.
All right, don't do that.
So was it 3 then?
No,
No, was it 2?
three.
I think it was just the 2.
No,
No, it was
no.
3, yeah, because I had to do the
Three.
Dicker's
It's
Yeah.
3, yeah. 3 bonks.
I'm still really scared that you have 1 heart, though.
I'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I don't think any
If
run
you just
marathon
hold
has done 1
shield
heart.
and back up, you never get hit.
Look, he has the mirror shield. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I reflect his hits. His damage just goes back to him.
Yeah, Ganon has this cool attack. Most of his attacks are deflected by the shield, but he has this cool kick attack
Yeah.
that just doesn't care about the shield.
So I mentioned it earlier. The first phase has a really fast strat for it. It's pretty precise. I'm going to be L-targeting Ganondorf pretty much at the start of the fight. And then doing a stab and a set of quick spins, hopefully fast enough to cut the first phase down to only 2 light arrows. Otherwise, it'll be 3 or 4.
Talking to Zelda causes her to shoot the light arrow more quickly.
Okay, that was it. 1, 2. And again, he cannot hit me, otherwise I will die.
You almost got hit by her arrow, though, through him.
I want him to jump up in the air here. Single swings are not what I want. So
This is the combo you want. And you cannot parry that too early. You have to do it right before he lands.
I actually found a strat to do it immediately.
Never
Or
mind.
Not me. Someone made a suggestion and it works, but it's pretty risky because you have a pretty high chance of getting hit. Time is going to be when when the sword goes into Ganondorf's head.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
GG, dude.
And
Time.
GG.
Ace, that is a 121 flat.
Sweet.
That was so sick.
That was a sick run. It was unfortunate with the Moritz, but I'm really happy with that.
I think gameplay-wise, it was a really good run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt
Yeah.
really solid. Yeah, so thank you guys for being here and commentating with me, and thank you for GDQ for having the run. And thank you everyone out there for watching. Give yourself a round of applause, please.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone at home for watching and donating. Yeah.
And if you want to watch Wind Waker runs, don't forget to check out this guy's Twitch channel, cha0ticace. He does a lot of Wind Waker speedruns and other speedruns.
And if somehow you watched this and said, I'd like to do that, which good on you, try.
I don't know why.
There's a Wind Waker speedrunning Discord. It's very inviting. People will be happy to show you the ropes. It's a great community.
Yep. And then there's a lot of resources on like speedrun.com as well, and Zelda speedruns. So, yeah, that's the Wind Waker No Manual Super Swing. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ace, for that incredible Wind Waker run. We got a couple of donations. We got $50 from Ripping Torrent. Let's meet that SMB3 donation, which, by the way, we're at $1,220 out of 5,000. So just keep that going, everyone. We've got $25 from Maria Cat. Much love from my friends and I. Heart, heart. We got $25 from Kate. Might need help with this. Oi! Yeah. Right. We got $25 from Big Lawson. I want to live in a world where everyone is enabled to play the game they love. Yeah, and again, GDQX is benefiting the able gamers, so all your donations are going to great charity. We got $15 from Library Nerd. Bonk times 3. We've got $25 from Cypress. Yo, GDQ Express, let's hit that bonus 80% run. Always a treat to see Mitch Flower Power doing Super Mario Brothers. Thank you, thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. This is the end of my hosting shift. Again, this is kekumanshoyu, and I wish you all aloha and mahalo.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to GDQX at TwitchCon. My name is Bobby Berman. I will be your host for the upcoming grudge match with What If Julia, Chris Melberger, Julian, and Jason Sully. We are so excited. Let's make some hype. Let's go. Yes. We have an exciting 2v2 race coming up. It's going to be a great one. But before we do that, we do want to talk about hotfix. All right, hotfix, the GDQ hotfix elevates speedrunning communities year-round. We have a diverse roster of shows and special events, so there's a fun flavor of speedrunning for everyone. Shows include spotlighting new games, teaching you how to speedrun, and the more niche parts of speedrunning, such as certain genres, categories, and randomizers. Go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix for more information. And as it says, we do host on weekdays, 7 p.m. Eastern on the twitch.tv/gamesdonequick channel. All right, we have some awesome donations coming through. We have a $15 donation from Mom6226 that says, "Good luck runners in the grudge match takeover." Next, we have a $50 donation from Crimson Decoded that says, "Let's get that SMB3 100% run. Extend that marathon." And as a reminder, coming up after this grudge match, we will have a Super Mario Bros. 3 upgrade to 100% if we reach that $5,000 incentive. We are currently at $1,375 of that $5,000. And I did get a bit of a hint. I was told that the two runners who would be doing that 100% are the #1 and the #3 runners of the category. So we really do want to see that. Get those donations in before the end of this upcoming run. And speaking of that Super Mario Bros. 3 run, we have $25 from Failed Up Link that says, "Want to upgrade SMB3." Also, everyone should be able to enjoy games. You are absolutely correct. We have a $50 donation from Esmioli. Pardon me if I said that wrong. Hope I got it right. It's $50 with no comment, but thank you so much for that awesome donation. Additionally, we have a $25 anonymous donation with no comment, but thank you so much. As our runners are starting to take the stage and get ready, we have some more donations here. We have $25 from Anonymous that I just mentioned. We also have $50 from Anonymous, no comment provided, but thank you so much. And make sure when you are donating to GDQ, make sure you're selecting that incentive towards that SMB3 100% run. If you go to gamesdonequick.com/donate, you're able to put in that dollar amount. And at the very bottom, you'll see incentive. You're gonna wanna click incentive and click on the incentive that you would like to participate towards. So get those donations in and make sure we're selecting that incentive. We have a $50 donation from Queen PIB that says, "Please donate for that SMB3 100% run. The monorail is full of music fans, and I don't want to go back to my hotel yet." That's an awesome comment. Thank you, Queen PIB. Thank you so, so much. Couple other donations here. We have a $25 donation from Bobo Luck. Thank you for that $25 donation. No comment provided, but really appreciated. We have a $5 donation from L that says, every time I think I couldn't love Wind Waker more, y'all prove me wrong. Thank you so much for that $5 donation. We have $15 from Lord Kekumanshoyu that says simply, bonk, bonk, bonk. Thank you for that donation, Lord Kekumanshoyu, appreciate. We have a $150 anonymous donation that says Super Mario 300%. Thank you for that donation, anonymous. We have a $50 donation from Destroyer TZ with no comment provided. Thank you so much for that donation. We also additionally have a $25 donation from Anonymous. Thank you both so much. We have a $25 donation from Banquo with no comment. Thank you so much for donating.
Yeah, you can see how you look on.
And as a reminder, GDQX at TwitchCon is here supporting Able Gamers. Able Gamers enables players with disabilities to participate in the video game worlds we love. They do a lot, but here are the top 3 things that we love about what they do. Peer support. Able Gamers peer counseling team consists of players with disabilities and occupational professionals who work one-on-one with players with disabilities to help find the most accessible and comfortable gaming setup for each individual. Then, whether the solution is a retail product or made from scratch in their research laboratory, the controllers are provided to the player free of cost thanks to the wonderful donors like you. Additionally, the Able Gamers program is a fully community effort as well that not only provides their partner hospitals with assistive tech and gaming hardware, but also provide training for staff and ensure that players can keep gaming after they leave the hospital, when they go home, and during Able Gamers community game nights. And finally, developer support. Able Gamers work alongside game developers to help ensure that players with disabilities are able to enjoy the same video games as everyone else. Accessible Player Experience, or APX, is the resource created by Able Gamers and the input of over 500 players with disabilities to help developers make accessible games by teaching developers the challenges of playing with a disability and then getting out of the way to let developers do what they do best, create games. We have a $100 donation from Bononista that says, Julian, Chris, Jason, and Julia, thank you for all that you do. Yep. We have a $50 donation from MK that says, friends are in from out of town and we're all eating delicious food and watching GDQ together, loving this marathon. Let's unlock 100%. We have a $25 donation from Mixed Drunk that says, here for the cha0ticace. Yes. We also have a $50 donation from Nidala that says 100% SMB3. Let's go. All right, so I'm gonna take a poll of the in-person crowd here right now. Let's say, make some noise if you think Julia and Chris are gonna win this. You could be louder than that. One more time, come on. If you think Julia and Chris are gonna win it, one more time. All right, make some noise if you think Julian and Jason are gonna win this. Again, you can do better. One more time, Julian and Jason. There we go. Get excited, folks. We have a $25 donation from Arcane NH with no comment, but thank you so much for that donation. Additionally, we have a $5 donation as well from Anonymous. Thank you so much. No comment provided, but we appreciate it just as much. Thank you. We have a $25 donation from Patrick that says, have fun at the games, GDQ, you are fantastic. We have a $50 donation from Yakupo with no comment provided, but thank you so much for the donation. All right, crowd and chat. Let me do a quick poll. How many of you, make some noise if you have played this game before? Anyone have played this game? Anyone? So it sounds like pretty new for most people, all right. So we're very, very excited. Also, I have one quick thing to announce. We have just surpassed $16,000. Awesome. We have a $50 donation from Zen Froggy that says, watching all weekend with my friend. Thanks for the great work. Thank you so much, Zen Froggy. We have a $5 donation from the Samily Bus member that says, thank you, Jario crew, for what you do. I don't know if you intended to do that, but that did rhyme. That was very clever. We have a $50 donation from Jules. Jules, hello from the crowd. Let's get 100% hype. Awesome update for you all. We just surpassed $2,000 of our $5,000 incentive to upgrade that Super Mario Bros. 3 run to 100%. And again, I did get a whisper that the top runners, the number 1 and the number 3 runner, will be running that if we get to that 100% incentive. So let's make sure we can get there by the end of this run. We have a $50 donation from Julia Plays that says, let's go, Jario. Let's go, Jario. You better do it to him. Thank you, Julia. Really appreciated. Let's make some noise for $100 from Tiny Inferno, saying, so excited for this collide of my 2 favorite worlds. Let's go, Julian, Julia, Chris, and Jason. Thanks, GDQ, for making this happen. We have a $5 donation from Tinka that says, Julian and Jason win this. Chris needs this, though, and Julia is great, too. $5 from Thal136 that says, let's get that SMB3 incentive. Thank you, Thal. All right, I just received word that we're ready to go for that grudge match takeover with What If Julia, Chris Melberger, Julian, and Jason Sully. Take it away.